The drama's starting to build up for Good Trouble, so let's break down the last 2 episodes before the season 1 finale and find out just what happened. What's going on, you lovely people? Lisa here, and I just gotta say thank you so much for being patient with me when it comes to my recaps of Good Trouble. It's been a busy few weeks, and unfortunately this was the show that kind of got put on the back burner compared to my other recaps. But I didn't want to leave you guys hanging before the finale this week, so I thought I would briefly try to catch you up on what happened in the last 2 episodes. Also, Good Trouble will kick off Season 2 on June 18th, so we do not have to wait that long in between the finale and Season 2, which is actually good. But let's go ahead and dive into everything. We'll kick it off with Alice and Sumi. So it seems like Alice is finally over Sumi. She is dating Joey. They seem happy, but you know that phrase, you don't know what you've got until it's gone or someone else has it? Yeah, Sumi's finally realizing she is not over Alice. You see, things are going well with Alice and Joey, and Sumi overhears one night and uses the excuse of having to give Alice back her scrunchie or hair tie to interrupt their date and then invite them to dinner with her and Mira. And yes, as you guessed, that goes super freaking awkward as Sumi pretty much ignores Mira and everything that Mira's trying to tell her about, you know, what Alice said on the radio show, and just sits there and sucks up to Alice and only talks about Alice. And by the end of the night, Joey is like, Alice, hey, wake up, Sumi is still in love with you, which kind of actually seems to shock Alice, like she hasn't realized this. So then we flash to Geils' art show where they all are hanging out, and we're a week away from Sumi and Mira's wedding, and we learn that Sumi actually told Alice one night that she's basically still in love with her.
So what if I told you I didn't want to marry Mira?
Why not?
Because I think I'm still in love with you.
Which is something that Alice has been holding on to and thinks about at the art show when Mira apologizes to Alice for being an ass at dinner and talks about how Sumi is her soulmate and she doesn't want to lose her. So now, you know, Alice may now kind of be feeling guilty, but then Mira and Sumi leave for dinner, and wise Joey tells Alice that this wedding's not happening, is it? So now we will have to see if Alice will tell Mira the truth or confront Sumi, or you know, Sumi will end up just, you know, calling off the wedding. Also, Alice still isn't out to her parents, so if Alice's parents show up to Sumi's wedding, which I don't think they even know Sumi is out, then it's just gonna be a mess, a hot mess, which could be kind of fun to watch, actually. All right, so in these episodes, we also, in the first one, have Steph and Lena coming back to town, and they're in pretty much a big fight, a big rough patch, as Lena's run for state assembly is really putting a strain on their relationship. Thank goodness they are actually able to work it out in the first episode and make up, but the main lesson from their visit that they pass on to Callie and Mariana is that you gotta fight for what you believe in and people you believe in, including yourself, which we do see Callie and Mariana listen to and take that advice as they go through the episodes. For Mariana, she's still trying to convince the other women at work to add the column for race to the wage spreadsheet, but putting that column would take away their anonymity because, I can't say that word, man, because there are only 2 women of color engineers, Mariana and Casey, so it would obviously out them and people would know that they broke their NDA. So Mariana is wrestling with what to do, and after Stefanina's advice, she calls the women of Speculate back together for another meeting, and this time she explains the reasons for this column with graphs to accompany, and now it seems like everyone's on board. And even Raj ends up putting his race in the column, which would obviously out him since, you know, he's the only Indian engineer and he's the only male in the spreadsheet. So Mariana's making a little bit of progress, but makes even more at the staff meeting. You see, one of the other engineering teams says they're running into a glitch similar to the one the blue team reported. So they ask if they can get the solution, and Alex freezes and is like, I'll have to get back to you on that, because guess what? He doesn't know the solution because Mariana found the glitch and called him out for it, and he was just like, whatever, well, you can go fix it. So Mariana does not hesitate and speaks up and gives the other team the solution she came up with to fix it, which catches the attention of Evan, Josh, and Angela, and Evan asks her to stay behind. So you see Evan once again bring up why Mariana never made the appointment to pitch the app, and the truth comes out as Mariana points out, you know, Angela told her not to, and Angela then points to the root of the problem, which ends up being Josh. Now Evan is not too happy about how all this went down and tells Mariana he's going to meet with her about the pitch. And then he tells Josh that Josh is no longer making the big pitch for the new app to the investors, so you can bet Josh is pissed and is going to want to get revenge on Mariana. And they want you to think that Angela might go along with him too, as rumors start going around the office that Angela knows about this spreadsheet, which has the women starting to freak out. Then at the art show, Josh is hell-bent on taking down Mariana, so he tells Angela to find a way to keep Mariana's pitch from happening or to fire her. And Angela's kind of like, you know what, this is your problem. But then Josh mentions someone named Amanda and how they wouldn't want the Amanda situation happening again, as Josh mentions how he thinks Evan's interests in Mariana aren't just professional, and brings up the Me Too movement, which Angela is quick to call Josh out on, since we've already learned from this show that Josh is kind of part of that problem, as he's hit on many coworkers. But this is the last straw for Angela, and thankfully she decides to hold her ground against Josh, and she actually gives Mariana files that have salary information for all the employees of Speculate. So take that, Josh. But will it bite them in the ass? We'll have to see. But with the concerns about Evan's behavior towards Mariana, Josh isn't the only one concerned. So is Raj, as he watches Mariana go off to talk to Evan at the art show, where Mariana ends up having to pitch her app right there, which is an activism app that would link up organizers and leaders with people who are interested in helping the cause, but wouldn't know how to get in touch or help. It brings people together, and Evan actually loves this idea and wants to start a build team for it. And then he opens up to Mariana about his social anxiety, and it seems like Evan's really comfortable talking to Mariana. So seeing that is kind of what causes Raj to voice concern to Mariana. And then Mariana takes the defense, thinking that Raj thinks Evan only greenlit her app because Evan has feelings for her, and calls out Raj for projecting since she turned down his advances, leaving this whole situation awkward. So yeah, first I have to wonder what this whole Amanda situation is that was mentioned. Like, has Evan been in trouble before, or was something blown out of proportion? I feel like she must be some kind of former employee, but did Evan, actually like her, or did Evan just find a nice soul he could talk to, like, that he was actually comfortable with, like he has Mariana, and maybe Josh or other people blew it out of proportion? I guess we will maybe find out. I would hope that they're not going to go with the storyline of Evan having feelings for Mariana, but just finding someone to confide in. I don't want to do that whole office romance thing again. I feel like we did that with Raj, and it's just a lot. But something in this storyline here that I didn't really recap, but I'm going to mention, is that I'm starting to get a little wary of Casey. I don't know. Casey was shooting down both of Mariana's app ideas, and I don't know if it was hard to tell if she meant it from a good place, or maybe if she wanted to steal Mariana's ideas. I know that's horrible to think, because we shouldn't be pitting women together, but there's just something about her that seems like, I don't know. I don't know how to read her yet. Is that bad? I don't know. Hopefully Casey's an ally, and she was just trying to help Mariana with her app pitches. I hope. But now moving on to Callie. So things get awkward when she tries to get out of dinner at Judge Wilson's house by saying she has plans with her family, and she also uses the word boyfriend to describe Jamie, but Wilson's just like, oh, it's fine, just bring everybody over for drinks before you go to your family dinner. And of course, this whole drink situation gets a little bit awkward because, Jamie's like, oh, I'm your boyfriend now. And the moms are, of course, trying to, not say anything Callie doesn't want them to, and they're kind of fighting. And then things get even more awkward. Judge Wilson makes some jabs at Tate by praising Callie for her rough upbringing with no privilege and how she made good. And this just continues to piss Tate off. So when Tate has a moment with Callie, he tells her he no longer has to wear his ankle bracelet because the charges were dropped, which causes Callie to kind of be like, WTF, since Tate took a swing at a police officer, and that's a major thing. Callie asks Jamie if he can help her get some answers, and back at the office, things get a little bit awkward too. First, we learn that Judge Handelman has resigned, so Kate is out of a clerkship, and Callie asks Judge Wilson if he can hire Kate to replace Rebecca, but he says he can't because he just can't handle another liberal clerk. Then during jury selection for Jamal Thompson's case, it's obvious that the lawyers are dismissing all the African American jurors, searching hard to find a cause, or using their preemptive strike. So eventually Jamal's lawyers finally call a Batson challenge, which is an objection to jurors being dismissed based on race, ethnicity, or sex. Using what Steph and Lena said, Callie decides to stand up for what she believes in, and she puts in some extra research over the weekend to pull up facts proving a pattern of discrimination to help Judge Wilson with this ruling on this Batson challenge. But Judge Wilson says that Callie has now crossed the line. And then Callie decides to go ahead and cross another one when she brings up Tate. And now if he had been black and took a swing at the police officer, he might not even be alive. And that's when Judge Wilson is just like, you need to get back to work. We then see Judge Wilson in the courtroom say that the Batson challenge is denied, but he does tell the defense that if their questioning and striking of black jurors continues, then the ruling will be reconsidered. But they say that the jury is set, and we see that there's only one African American on it. But by this time, the damage has been done, as we see Judge Wilson tell Callie she's no longer on the Jamal Thompson case, and her replacement is none other than Kate. So as for Jamie, he does end up calling an investigator friend for Callie and find out if any fishy business went on with getting Tate's charges dropped, and he basically says nothing out of the real ordinary for a kid with powerful parents or privilege, but the investigator did find out something interesting.
Chief Kelly, the former chief of police, when Jamal was shot, didn't suddenly decide to retire. He was forced to. There was an IA investigation going on, how much he allegedly made off, and it's easier and cheaper for the department to let victims of police shootings die.
So will Callie bring this up at all? It could help the Jamal Thompson side of the case, but I'm sure Judge Wilson, it would just ruin her relationship with him maybe a little bit more. And Judge Wilson looked kind of scared when he walked by and saw Jamie and Callie talking to the investigator far away. So I think he's keeping a close eye, and you gotta wonder what Callie's going to do here. Will she fight for what's right? Will she put her job on the line? What's going to happen here? And, well, you know what? The Jamal Thompson case isn't just putting it straight on Callie and Judge Wilson's relationship, it's also tough on Malika. So when videos surface of Jamal's from when he was alive saying he doesn't like black women, it causes a lot of backlash. And Malika is wondering if she should even still fight for Jamal, and so she kind of has to decide what to do. This also takes a toll on her relationships. She ends up breaking up with Isaac over all the issues and stances and whether he's woke enough. She also goes to see Jamal's mom to see how she's doing with the backlash, and when Jamal's mom says maybe this is her fault because she never noticed, Jamal's preferences in women and, his relation to black culture when it was all right in front of her face and whatnot, Malika starts to kind of pull away. Callie then tells Malika that she's no longer on the case, and she asks how Malika is. And Malika ends up talking about how she can see why Jamal would have had those preferences, because even for her growing up, there was never a lot of representation of people that looked like her on TV and movies, and if there was, oftentimes it wasn't a good representation. And she says that she can see where he was coming from and that she's still going to continue to fight for Jamal because they should all be there for each other. So Callie asks who is there for Malika, because she sees that Malika's been pretty stressed out and Malika seems alone. And we see Malika go back to Jamal's mom's house because she's always been able to open up to Jamal's mom. And when Jamal's mom opens the door, Malika apologizes and starts to open up to her, but Jamal's mom is a little colder to Malika now and says there's no time for these kind of moments and they gotta continue their fight. We then see Malika put all her focus into organizing the protests, even getting everyone at the coterie to help, and she's actually the one who inspired Mariana's idea for that app that she pitched. But the stress of trying to lead everyone and have everything together and to put on a brave face, plus you throw in the fact that Malika is about to graduate, but her brother Dom has cut off all communication with her, it's just causing Malika to reach her boiling point. And she kind of ends up taking it out on Isaac and Davia. And when Davia brings home one of her students named Vivian, who Malika immediately kind of pinpoints as thinking that she's homeless, she encourages Davia to call CPS right away. But Davia wants to give Vivian's story the benefit of the doubt and wait a little bit to make sure she has all the facts. But, Malika keeps pushing, saying that Davia has no idea what she's talking about. So Davia is kind of like trying to get Malika to explain things to her.
Why you gotta get defensive?
Because you're attacking me when I am just honestly trying to understand. I'm on your side. No, but it feels like there's nothing I can do to convince you of that.
If the truth feels like an attack, you need to check your privilege.
And essentially, this just causes them to have a huge blow up with Davia telling Malika that she doesn't know everything, and just because she thinks it's the right choice and it was the right choice for her, doesn't mean it's the right choice for everyone. And that's in relation to, what to do with Vivian. And that causes Malika to think about Dom and how Dom told her that the system was horrible to him. So she's thinking, calling CPS was the right decision for her, but it wasn't the right decision for her brother. And that's what obviously has caused them to have a huge falling out. And all of these conversations are really making Malika stop and think. And we see that she ends up being, late for the protest. Everyone's texting her about where she is. And she ends up getting a call from Dom, who says that everything is not okay. So will she go to Dom or will she go to the protest? Which one will she choose? Now, as far as Davia goes, sadly she has taken Jeff back because she believes what he said about leaving his wife. And we find out that Davia is actually planning on moving back to be with him. Now, he actually hasn't told his wife yet and is supposedly trying to get his ducks in a row, which is advice from his divorce lawyer before he tells her, which has Davia a little weary. And then at the art show, Dennis tells Davia to be good to herself, and Jeff ends up making comment about how Davia will fit in much better back home, implying that she doesn't fit in Los Angeles, which Davia takes offense to, and then Davia tells Jeff she's not moving back until he's left his wife because she is not going to be his mistress. And I just wish she wouldn't have taken Jeff back at all, but at least this is kind of a baby step in the right direction, right? As for Jasmine, Geils' sister, the lawyers tell her that the catering company is willing to settle for $10,000 or they can go to trial, and Jasmine says it's not about the money, that she wants to go to trial because she wants the exposure for trans and LGBT rights. But by the end of the episode, she's decided to actually take the money instead because she really needs it to get back on her feet. As for Geils, his love life once again gets super rocky. This time, he has his big art show and he needs 8 pieces, and he has 8, but the thing is, the owner wasn't impressed with his 8th piece, which Brian also ended up calling mediocre in his own way, that Geils was not happy about, that caused Brian to have to backtrack, and it was just super awkward. So now Geils struggling with a final piece. He has 24 hours to make a new one. So what does he do? He ends up calling Callie for help, and she helps him make this really beautiful piece because, well, she's his muse. And, well, this piece actually impresses everyone, including the gallery owner and even Jamie, who anonymously buys it and asks Callie to come over and help him decide where to put it, which is kind of awkward since the 2 arms in the piece are Geils and Callie's, which Jamie doesn't know, but Brian ends up finding out because Geils and Callie have matching stains on their hands. Now, this, of course, leads to a big fight between Geils and Brian, causing them to break up, and for Brian to call Geils out for what's actually the problem here. Not necessarily Callie, but Geils being shut off from the start of their relationship. So something has been holding Geils back, and Brian says if Geils doesn't figure it out, he won't be right for anyone. Now, this was kind of alluded to when Jasmine was talking to Geils and said that she could tell that, Geils not in love with Brian. And then she brings up Geils' ex named Elijah, who seems to be the last person Geils was in love with, but then he sabotaged it by basically running away from it. And it seems like he loves Callie in the same way that he loved Elijah. So Brian tells Callie that she's won, and of course now with the finale, I'm sure we're gonna have Callie deciding which guy she wants to pursue a relationship with. But just like the mention of the Amanda situation with Mariana and Josh and that whole storyline, I am curious to learn more about Elijah, and maybe they'll pop up in season 2 or the season 1 finale to cause more drama. There's definitely more backstory to these characters that will definitely need to be delved into in season 2. Season 1 just kind of like set us up to get to know the essentials of these characters. Now with season 2, I feel like we can really dive into the past and their dramas and all of that. Now, the last person to talk about in these 2 episodes is Dennis, who leaves us with the biggest cliffhanger going into the finale. Is he alive? Yes, I said that, which makes me sad because, Dennis, we didn't get much of him in the first half of this season, and then, in these last half of the season, we've really gotten to know him, and he's kind of grown on me, But with Dennis, you see things start to go downhill for him when Dennis's old friend Nathan meets with him to say he's not giving Jesus the funding for this tiny house project because he's learned Dennis isn't the one managing the business. You see, Nathan only agreed to do this deal with Jesus as a favor since he thought Dennis needed the money. And then it turns into a fight about whether, this is all about Nathan dating his ex Jen, and then Jen shows up, which causes even more fights about, why Dennis wants half the assets, and she calls him out for being a shitty husband and father and only caring about their son Jacob when Jacob got cancer. And that's really the blow that hits Dennis. So then Davi is heading out to the protest when she runs into Jen at the elevator, and Jen plays a concerning voicemail from Dennis where he calls and apologizes and says that all he does is fail people and he wishes he had died and not Jacob, and he wants Jen to have everything and have a great life. And we see Dennis sitting in his car alone in a parking lot. And now Davia is panicking because Dennis isn't in his room, and she runs into another room to start calling him and leaving him voicemails, crying, hoping that he is okay, because we've really seen Davia and Dennis form a really special, friendship in this show. They fought each other for so long, but really they did understand each other, and that's a friendship I want to see explored more. Whether it turns into a romantic thing or not, I kind of want but don't care because I just want to see the friendship and I want Dennis to be okay. But we also get to see, flashbacks of Dennis at the art show and everybody kind of, or us, realizing that Dennis was saying his goodbyes to everyone. But that's the big cliffhanger we have going into this finale is Dennis still alive? Did he commit suicide or did he just up and leave? Like I said, lots of drama going into this season finale, like Dennis's fate. Will Sumi end up marrying Mira? Will Alice be outed or will she come out? Does Evan actually like Mariana in that way? Will Callie, end up spilling what she knows, which will affect Jamal Thompson's case and Judge Wilson? Will Callie choose Geils or Jamie? Lots of questions, so let's just look at the finale promo.
How do I look?
If they had these records, they might win their case.
You will never work anywhere again.
This is about doing what's right.
Do not do something that you might regret.
I did it.
What are you gonna choose?
Yeah, basically everyone, as expected, has big decisions to make that will be life-changing moving into season 2, and I cannot wait to see what they decide. So, what do you think is going to happen in the season finale, which I will be talking about probably in a few hours? What choices do you hope each of these characters make? What do you want to see in season 2? Let me know all your thoughts, theories, comments, whatever, down below. And after that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and check out more of my recaps and interviews right over there. And again, thank you so much for being patient with me on these Good Trouble recaps. My name's Lisa. I'll see you again next time.